Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and today we're back with another wine night. Today, well, first of all, I wanted to say I wore this in a different video and I've washed it since then and it looks like it faded properly. Like it actually looks kind of tie-dye now and I'm much happier now. But anyway, today I wanted to share with you guys, I've been really trying to focus in on a couple of the things that I feel like I wanted to do as like my summer bucket list items. And one of those things was having a day of zero work, including no regular work, no YouTube work, no dog sitting, just a day where I'm spending time with myself and P and like not hanging out with anyone else, just being me. And let me tell you, it was really, really nice, really refreshing, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. So first off, I did try to sleep in as much as possible. Unfortunately, P is not one to sleep in. So I did wake up pretty early still, but I just kind of like laid in bed and hung out with P and read my book. On Saturday, Ryan and I went over to a bookstore and it was supposed to be a 50% off sale, but not many items were 50% off. But regardless, we just walked around and he got me I was actually really excited about this and I don't have it with me, but I wanted to show you guys and I will probably show you in an upcoming video. But he got me this book all about unsolved deaths and it's so cool. And he was like, you know, this might give you some ideas for True Crime Tuesdays. And there were quite a few stories in there that I hadn't known about. And there was like a whole series of these books. It was like unsolved mysteries, unsolved conspiracy theories, and all these different books. Anyway, so that was one of them. And then he also bought me a book called Verity, which I had heard a little bit about via YouTube and another like vlogger. So I was really excited about those books. But first, I've been reading The Alienist, and that was another thing on my list where I wanted to try to finish The Alienist plus one more book. So I decided, okay, let me like hunker down and get back into The Alienist because I knew I was really liking it. But the more time I spend away from a book, I kind of forget why I was liking it so much. So I really wanted to like spend time with it. So I read in the morning. That was like all just to say that. And then after that, I decided I was going to go over to Blue Bottle with P. I went around like 10 a.m. I want to say. Again, I had full intentions of going earlier in the morning, but I just was trying to be a little lazy. So went to Blue Bottle, which is this really nice coffee place in Pasadena that I really love. And I went with P and they have a little patio area for outside that I got to just like hang out with him in. And I always feel a little nervous whenever I bring P places like that because I have to bring him in order to order. And I remember working places like that. And whenever someone would bring a dog in, I'd be like, hey, you can't have them. So I always feel so nervous. And they were so nice. And they were like, oh my gosh, does he want a treat? It was just like the cutest thing. So there was a perfect little spot outside. They actually brought me my food and my drink to me, which I thought was really kind of them. And then they asked if they could play with him. And it was just a really nice experience. So from there were actually some dogs in that same little patio area. And so P was just kind of like playing with the other dogs. And then there's a park that's nearby in Pasadena as well. So we just walked over to the park and I continued reading there. But of course, there's also squirrels because it's a park. And so P was just like going crazy about the squirrels. So my parking was almost up anyway, and I could have renewed it, but I was like, you know, this is probably a good reason just to head home. And so that's exactly what I did. After that, I went over to Target because I had to get some groceries. And then in addition to that, I also had some shorts that I wanted to buy. And it was like a whole situation because it was pretty funny. I went to Target to buy these shorts and the groceries, and it said online that they had the shorts, and then it said that, or when I went there, they weren't there. So then I had to order them online, and it was like, oh, it'll be ready within the next 6 hours and you can pick them up. And I was like, okay, fine. So I'll just come back later. And then I got the groceries, and as I was leaving, I was pulling out and I got a notification saying that my pickup was ready. But I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna do it later because I didn't want to make like a whole loop, and it was totally fine. I went back to my house and I was pretty hungry at this point, so I had some leftovers from the day before. Ryan and I went to a place called Dave's Hot Chicken, which is so good. We generally go to this other place called Hot Chicks, but for whatever reason it was closed until September 1st, so we couldn't go there. So Dave's Hot Chicken is our next favorite, and we had eaten there the night before before, but I had leftovers because I can't eat as much as they give you. I can only eat like half of the portion. So I hung out in the backyard and ate, and then I was still pretty tired. I think it was just like a lot of the prior week catching up to me. So I decided to take a nap, and I napped for like 3 hours. Like it was straight up asleep. It was the best nap I think I've ever taken, and it was definitely much needed. After my nap, I went back over to Target to go ahead and pick up the shorts, and then I also needed to pick up a couple of things for Ryan too because I was already there, so it was like might as well. And then I went back home and I read for a little while more, and then I decided to take P on another walk even though he was pretty pooped at that point. And that's mostly because I've told myself that if I don't work out in the day, then I promise to myself that I will at least walk 2 miles, and I think I was at like 1.5 miles or something like that. So I decided I was going to take P for a walk. At first he wouldn't walk, which I've noticed he does sometimes when my neighbors do a lot of fireworks because he just gets nervous, or if there's like a really loud car or a motorcycle or something like that. So I had to carry him for a little bit, but then after like half a block he would walk by himself. But in my mind I was like, that's fine because I didn't work out today. So we walked around for a little while, just a couple of blocks, and he got to just, I don't know, explore a little bit, which I always love to do with him. And then we went back to my house. Honestly, for the rest of the night, I just read, and that was pretty much it. I got really into my book. I read like almost 200 pages that day, and I had such a good time doing it. I just hadn't done that in so long. And again, it was much needed. I just really wanted to get back into my book and remember why I liked it so much. And I told myself by the end of August, I would finish the book. And then that way in September, I could read my other book. And I'm almost done with my book. I think I have like 2 chapters left, and I'm like a week ahead of schedule, which I'm really excited about because that gives me more time to read the other book. And it also means that I've been giving myself more time in my day to do the things that I love, like reading. So just a couple of quick thoughts about my day with no work because I think it was very insightful for me. One of the first things was that my time at that coffee shop was so enjoyable. I think I spent like an hour to an hour and a half there, and I had such a blast. It was seriously so much fun to just hang out there. There were so many people that talked to me about P, that commented on him, that wanted to like play with him. He played with other dogs, and it was really cool just being by myself doing that because I think a while back that would have terrified me, and I instead found it so enjoyable. So I really want to make more time to do that even on days when I do have to go back home and work. I also was really happy that I picked back up on reading because like I've mentioned, I've been slacking a lot on it, and I really wanted to make time that day to focus on reading and focus on the things that I really like to do. So it was really nice to really dive back into my book and get back into like that routine of reading again. Just as a side note on that, I am seeing that reading is becoming like way more popular now, even on YouTube, and like there's like book talk on TikTok, and then there's people on YouTube that are starting reading channels, and it's just cool to see more people getting back into reading and like sharing their thoughts with each other, sharing their Goodreads accounts so that people can see what they've read and what they've liked, and that's really exciting to me too. So I actually restarted my Goodreads account so that I could remember what books I liked to read, and so I could get more recommendations, and it's just been really great. So if you guys are interested in getting more into reading, there's also a website that Ryan told me about. It's called Better World Books, and especially for a lot of those older books, not necessarily books that came out recently, but some older ones, they have a lot of books that are very cheap. I know I got The Alienist, for example. It was used, but I got it for $4 and it was in pretty good condition, and honestly I throw my books in my bag anyway, so it's gonna get messed up. I was really excited. Verity, obviously, Ryan bought for me, but I also wouldn't have been able to get a cheaper price on Better World Books because it's a newer book. But I also got a Stephen King book recently that I think at Barnes & Noble was like $25, and on Better World Books it was $6. So I'm very excited about it, and I just wanted to share that bit of information with you guys. Honestly, the other thing is that I really wanted to do work on this day, and it was really hard to convince myself to not do work. I'm not quite sure if it was because I felt like I wanted to get ahead or if it was because there are things that I really wanted to do. The day before, when I had been at the bookstore with Ryan, he was talking to me about my YouTube videos and just giving me some other tips that I could take to like my YouTube videos and how I edit them and things like that. And I was really excited about a lot of the tips that he gave me, and another one of my friends also gave me some tips. So I think part of it was that I was just really excited to execute some of these tips, but I kept kept telling myself, like, it's really healthy to have time away from work and away from anything that's productive, because sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is just rest your brain. Obviously, I needed it because I took that crazy nap. So yeah, I just kept convincing myself, like, no, just take some time off and you'll be fine. So I'm really glad I did do that. But again, it just was funny to me that I was like, oh, of course, like, now is the day that I want to work, which is just very funny to me. So overall, I had a really, really great time having that day with no work. And I definitely want to have more of those types of days. Sometimes it's hard for me because I am trying to do dog sitting, and weekends obviously are great for that. But I just wanted to kind of share with you all what my day looked like. And I wanted to, just say, if you guys are working really hard, take some time for yourself, and also take some time for like just yourself if you have the ability to. I know sometimes that can be hard because I know I find it difficult at times, but just, find some time to go to a coffee shop, read a book, or watch a movie you've been wanting to watch, or whatever it might be. Just everybody has their different things. It doesn't have to be reading or, I don't know, whatever it is that I did. It can be, again, watching a movie, watching a TV show, just like sitting at home. It can be anything. But as long as you're doing it because it's your thing that you want to do, I think that's really important. And we all need days like that. I hope you guys have been enjoying my channel and like this video. If you guys have any recommendations for any true crime videos or Saturday videos, then either leave it in the comments below or you can put it in the Google form that's in the description. I really appreciate all of you all watching, and again, any recommendations, would love to hear them. I want to know what you guys want to see. I hope you guys are having a really great weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye guys.